Hello, how you all doing? It's good to be here. I am so happy to be here because I have a taste and recognition of what true compassion is within the Highland Park district. Whether it's from the political governance structure when I first met Mayor Mikler, who welcomed me into this township, or is from as low as the kids in the classroom who mobilized resources for me when I had an education project in Liberia to help one of the most devastated schools in my community. So I'm glad to be here, and when Oscar Brewer asked me to come, I was more than honored. It's a good thing being here. My name is Laraamand Nyonton, and I bring you greetings as a conscious revolutionary of Black consciousness, as a proud African who believes in Pan-Africanism. I'm from a continent once referred to as the dying continent of Africa. Although it's been many centuries now, we still see in this Asian town people refer to us as shithole nations and countries. But Africa has come along. It has been able to prove itself and demonstrate over the years that it is the beacon for globalization and the nearest frontier for investment opportunities. And so as I join you today in this celebration, I'm only reminded by the words of Dr. Martin Luther King's wife, Sarah Scott King. When this day was signed into law, she said, "This is not a Martin Luther King's Day alone. This is the People's Day." I remember that those who marched to Washington on that fateful day of August 1963 were not alone. They were united in the grace and the courage and the sign in one tune, "We shall overcome." That laid the basis for the most historic speech delivered by Dr. King, "I Have a Dream." And that also laid the basis for several other non-violence demonstrations, all across America. We still remember the times when our brothers and sisters had to march 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery in Alabama, or our great-grandfathers that were taken from the land of Africa and brought here as slaves and suffered different eras of the brutal era of James Crow. But even as we celebrate this day, I think it is important to always ask the fundamental question, and I think that question still survives in our generation. What kind of generation we want to see? Are we just a generation worth remembering heroes? Or are we the new Martin Luther King of our time? Or the new Frederick Douglass of our time? Or the new Rosa Parks, someone who inspired millions of women around the world, even in her death? Or the new Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey? What kind of life are we modeling for our children in the local communities, in our schools, and even those of our brothers and sisters that are coming in constant contact with the law and going to prison? What kind of life are we modeling for them and for our grandchildren? Because the truth of the matter is, we may all be of different race and color, different identity, from different origin, but there's one thing that will still unite all of us as we think about the civil rights movement. And that one thing should admonish all of us to stand together. And particularly for those of us in the African American community, it is a call to action for all of us. It is important that we begin not to see ourselves as human first before we are Black, because that ultimately diminishes the true essence of Black consciousness. It is important that we begin to review our history, to look back across Africa and see that those who have stood for freedom and justice, who stood against oppression and imperialism and colonialism, to also be remembered on a day like this. Because once we can do that, we are uniting a family together. We are able to globalize and unite to fight, not only for Black consciousness, but for the dignity of every man and every woman, to ensure that we, across Africa and the Black community, can unite and fight against the racism here in America, but also across Africa, to fight for neocolonialism, to fight against it, to ensure that we can fight against injustices everywhere it is and can be found, and that we can build a One Africa movement, a One Black liberation movement. Thank you so much for having me.